Have you ever seen an act of kindness so pure it changes someone's entire world? Well, get ready, because what happens next in our story is going to leave you absolutely speechless. Welcome back to part 4 of the story of Little Maya and the Millionaire. Mr. Harrison, if you're just joining us, you might want to catch up on the first 3 parts to really feel the full impact of this incredible journey. So, where did we leave off? Mr. Harrison, a man who seemed to have everything, had just been completely humbled by a little girl named Maya. She had walked into his office, not to ask for money, but for milk, promising to pay him back when she grew up. Her simple request, full of innocence and determination, had cracked open a part of his heart he thought was long gone. He'd agreed to help, but he knew deep down this was about more than just a carton of milk. It was about connection, about seeing the world through her eyes. As Mr. Harrison drove Maya and her mother Sarah to the grocery store, the silence in his luxury car was thick with unspoken emotions. Sarah was overwhelmed, a mix of gratitude and embarrassment swirling within her. Maya, on the other hand, was buzzing with excitement. For her, this was a grand adventure. She pointed out the window at the tall buildings, her little voice full of wonder. "Look, that one looks like a giant's Lego tower." Mr. Harrison found himself smiling, a genuine, easy smile. He hadn't felt this light in years. When they arrived at the supermarket, Maya's eyes went wide. It was a palace of food, a wonderland of colors and smells. She held Mr. Harrison's hand on one side and her mother's on the other. "Can we get the milk with the cow on it?" she asked, her voice filled with hope. Mr. Harrison chuckled. "We can get any milk you want, little one," but he didn't stop at the dairy aisle. He grabbed a shopping cart, a big one, and looked at Sarah. "Please," he said, his voice gentle but firm. "What?" "Let me help. Fill it up." "Whatever you need," Sarah hesitated, pride warring with the desperate need she felt. She'd always been the provider, the one who made things work, even when it seemed impossible. Accepting this felt like admitting defeat. Mr. Harrison saw the conflict in her eyes. He leaned in slightly and said quietly, "This isn't charity, Sarah. This is ... an investment. An investment in a bright future." He winked at Maya. "She promised to pay me back, remember?" That small joke broke the tension. Sarah let out a shaky breath and nodded, a tear escaping down her cheek. And so they began to shop. Maya was in heaven. She picked out her favorite cereal, the one with the colorful loops. She pointed to a bag of bright red apples. Sarah, meanwhile, focused on the essentials: rice, beans, pasta, bread, and fresh vegetables. With every item that went into the cart, a layer of worry seemed to peel away from her. Mr. Harrison watched them, a profound sense of purpose filling him. He saw the way Maya carefully placed a box of crackers in the cart, as if it were a precious treasure. He saw the relief flood Sarah's face as she added a package of chicken, a luxury they hadn't been able to afford for weeks. This wasn't about the money for him anymore. It was about seeing the direct, tangible impact of his actions. It was about bringing joy and relief to a family that deserved it. As they filled the second cart, Maya suddenly stopped in the toy aisle. She stared at a simple, cuddly teddy bear. She didn't say a word, just looked at it with longing. Her mom gently tugged her hand. "Come on, sweetie, we have everything we need." But Maya's gaze was fixed on the bear. Mr. Harrison knelt down beside her. "Do you like that bear?" he asked softly. Maya nodded, her eyes still glued to it. "He looks lonely," she whispered. "I think he needs a friend." Without a second thought, Mr. Harrison picked up the bear and placed it in the cart, right on top of a bag of potatoes. "Well then," he said with a warm smile. "We can't have him being lonely, can we? He can keep you company." Maya's face lit up with a joy so pure it was breathtaking. She threw her arms around Mr. Harrison's neck in a spontaneous hug. "Thank you, thank you. I'll name him Harrison." In that moment, holding the little girl in his arms, Mr. Harrison felt a shift within himself. The walls he had built around his heart for years began to crumble. He wasn't just a businessman anymore, not just a millionaire. He was Harrison, the friend of a teddy bear and the hero of a little girl. When they finally got to the checkout, the cashier's eyes widened at the mountain of groceries. As the items were scanned, the total climbed higher and higher. Sarah watched, her anxiety creeping back in. Even though she knew Mr. Harrison was paying, it was just so much. But Mr. Harrison simply swiped his card without a flicker of hesitation. As they loaded the bags into his car, he turned to Sarah. "This is just the beginning," he said. "I have an idea, but I want to discuss it with you properly. Can I take you both out for a real meal? Somewhere nice?" Sarah was speechless. She just nodded, tears welling up in her eyes again. This man, a complete stranger just hours ago, was changing their lives in ways she could never have imagined. He took them to a quiet, elegant restaurant. Maya, holding her new bear, was on her best behavior, her eyes taking in everything. Over a warm meal, Mr. Harrison laid out his plan. "Sarah," he began, "I was incredibly impressed by your work at the office today. Your attention to detail, your efficiency. ... It was remarkable. The company's expanding and I need a new personal assistant, someone I can trust. Someone organized and dedicated. The position comes with a full salary, health benefits, and a stable schedule." He paused, letting his words sink in. "The job is yours if you want it." Sarah stared at him, her fork frozen halfway to her mouth. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. A real job? A career? With benefits? It was everything she had been dreaming of, praying for. It was a lifeline, a path out of the constant struggle, and into a future where she could provide for Maya without worry. I don't know what to say," she stammered, her voice thick with emotion. "Say yes," he said simply, his gaze steady and sincere. "You've earned it, and right there in that quiet restaurant." With her daughter happily munching on a bread roll beside her, Sarah's life turned a corner. She accepted the offer, her heart overflowing with a gratitude so immense it felt like it could light up the entire city. After dinner, Mr. Harrison drove them home. The car was now filled not with groceries, but with hope. As they pulled up to their small apartment building, he helped them carry everything upstairs. Before he left, he knelt down one last time to say goodbye to Maya. "You take good care of your mom and your new bear, okay?" Ashe, clutching the teddy bear she'd named after him, nodded seriously. "I will, and I'll work really hard in school so I can pay you back for the milk." Mr. Harrison's heart swelled. He smiled and gently tapped her nose. "I know you will. But how about we call it even?" He looked at Sarah, who was standing in the doorway, her face illuminated by a newfound light. For the first time in a very long time, she looked truly happy and truly at peace. As Mr. Harrison walked back to his car, the city lights seemed to shine a little brighter. He had started the day as a lonely millionaire, and he was ending it as something more. He was a friend, a benefactor, a catalyst for change. It was all because a little girl with incredible courage had asked him for a simple carton of milk, and in doing so, had given him back something he'd lost long ago, his own humanity. Their story was far from over. In fact, a brand new chapter, full of promise and hope, was just beginning. What a powerful turn of events. Job offer that will change everything for Sarah and Maya. But what happens next? How will Sarah adapt to her new role? How will this unlikely friendship between a little girl and a millionaire continue to blossom? You absolutely do not want to miss the grand finale in Part 5. Make sure you resubscribed with notifications on so you read the first to see how this beautiful story concludes. Thank you for watching.